Nothing happens. No messages. No external signs. And yet, something inside you won't stop moving. This is the silent paradox that transforms anyone who experiences a twin flame so deeply that few can truly explain it. When you should feel at peace because nothing is happening on the outside, why do you feel more alive than ever? This strange, almost contradictory sensation is exactly where most people get lost, assuming that the lack of contact means the end of everything, when in reality it's only the beginning of an invisible transformation. Have you ever stopped to think about why silence hurts so much when it comes from someone special? It doesn't hurt because the twin flame connection has disappeared, it hurts precisely because it's still there, so present that you can feel every vibration of it, every breath they don't send you, every word they don't type. It's as if you're both shouting at each other in a language only souls can understand. The uncomfortable truth is that you've probably already felt the signs that came before this silence, those strange moments when everything seemed to speed up right before suddenly stopping. But here's the fascinating part, this silence is not punishment, it's not rejection in disguise, and it's definitely not the end of the story. It is, in fact, one of the most active and transformative phases of a twin flame separation, a period where the energy works behind the scenes, where changes happen not in what you see, but in what you feel. Think about it, when you're in a deep sleep, your body doesn't stop working, right? Your heart keeps beating, your lungs keep breathing, your brain keeps processing everything you lived through during the day. Twin flame silence works in exactly the same way, it's a rest filled with movement, a pause that's loaded with energetic action. The connection between you didn't disappear, it simply changed form, shifted frequency, and you're about to understand exactly how. In the next few minutes, you'll discover why the silence with that special person feels so different from any other silence in your life, because it carries a unique energetic signature, a mark that only two souls who recognize each other can leave behind. You'll learn how to identify the signs that come before this delicate phase, understand what's really happening behind that apparent lack of movement, and most importantly, realize that this distance, this absence of external contact, does not mean the twin flame connection during separation has lost its strength. In fact, it's quite the opposite. When you truly absorb this, when you genuinely integrate this understanding, your life changes completely, because you stop fighting the process and start dancing with it. So get ready, because we're about to step into territory where most people get lost, but you won't. You're going to understand. Stay with me until the end, because you're going to love it. What does it really mean to be in twin flame in motion when absolutely nothing seems to be happening on the outside? That's the question that haunted you the most when you woke up in the middle of the night, checking your phone and waiting for a message that never came, right? The reality is that, in motion, doesn't mean what you think it means. It doesn't mean shattered pieces of glass rearranging themselves to form a whole mirror again, it doesn't mean two bodies physically moving closer, and it doesn't mean that long-awaited contact. It means something much deeper, much more real, a movement that happens in the most subtle layers of existence, in what you can't measure with a ruler or time with a clock, but feel with every cell of your body. When you finally understand this, the anxiety that once consumed you begins to dissolve, because you realize that silence isn't empty, it's fullness disguised as absence. This understanding is exactly what you need to move through the next days, weeks, or even months with a level of serenity that very few people are able to maintain in this situation. Let me be absolutely clear with you, silence is not rejection, it is not punishment, and it is not abandonment, even though your ego may scream that it is every time you look at the clock and notice how many hours have passed without that contact. Twin flame silence is, in truth, a sacred phase, just as important as any other moment you've shared together, perhaps even more important. People who live superficial relationships never understand this, because to them silence means death, but to someone who has experienced a true twin flame awakening, silence is a necessary breath, a rest that strengthens. Have you ever stopped to think about how plants grow? They don't grow when it's raining and you can see them changing, they grow silently during the night, when no one is watching, when everything seems still. Your connection works the same way. While you sleep, while you move through your own life without noticing, energetically speaking, the two of you are reorganizing, recalibrating, and preparing for the next chapter. In this video, you'll explore a path that most people don't even know exists. First, you'll understand those strange signs that came before all of this, those moments when it felt like someone was speaking through reality itself, synchronicities appearing so clearly that you couldn't pretend they were coincidences. Then, you'll investigate the true root of this distance, and this is where things get interesting, because you'll discover that no one is running from anyone, someone is running from an energetic intensity they can't yet sustain. And finally, you'll learn what your real role is in this story, what exact action, or non-action, can completely transform the trajectory of both of you. What happens during twin flame silence is not a quiet tragedy, it's a divine recalibration, and you're about to discover why. Part 1, The Signs Before the Silence. The signs begin subtly, almost like a cosmic whisper that only you can hear, numbers repeating obsessively, 1111, 222, 333, those digits appearing in places so specific and so frequent that, deep down, you know it isn't a coincidence. You might be driving, glance at the license plate of the car in front of you, and there it is. Or you check the time and catch that exact numerical pattern glowing on your phone screen. This is a twin flame connection speaking through the universal language of mathematics, the entire cosmos whispering, I see you too. When you start noticing these patterns, a primitive part of your brain knows something extraordinary is happening, because numbers don't lie, numbers don't deceive, and numbers don't make false promises. It's as if the universe itself is using the most precise form of communication possible to tell you, you're not imagining this, and you're not alone on this journey. Then come the dreams, dreams so vivid, so real, that you wake up disoriented, unsure whether you truly woke up or if you're still there, in that other world where you can touch her, talk to her, be with her without the complications of this side of reality. You dream of things she never told you, places you've never been together, conversations that feel so authentic you swear they actually happened. Some people dismiss this as subconscious imagination, but the truth goes much deeper. During twin flame silence, when physical contact doesn't exist, the soul finds other ways to communicate, and dreams are one of the most direct channels. It's as if you're both in a soundproof room on the other side, speaking to each other where no one else can hear. When you wake up, there's a strange feeling, sadness mixed with joy, longing blended with hope, because you know it was real, and at the same time you know it's unreachable for now. And then there are the emotions that appear out of nowhere, as if someone flipped a switch in your chest, anger that isn't yours, sadness that comes from nowhere, sudden joy without any apparent reason, that wave of nostalgia that hits you when you weren't even thinking about her. Your physical body feels strange sensations too, tingling in your chest, tightness in your throat, warmth rising from your stomach to your heart, as if there were an invisible thread connecting the two of you and she had gently pulled on it. All of this is a sign that the twin flame awakening has begun, that the deepest layers of your being are communicating with hers through a language that transcends words and text messages. When it all comes together, the numbers, the dreams, the emotional surges, the synchronicities falling one after another like dominoes in slow motion, that's when the surprising moment arrives. The moment you realize that something has fundamentally changed inside you, and an irresistible urge to transform your entire life begins to take hold. Part 2, The Invisible Root of the Separation. Now we arrive at the part most people don't want to hear, but that you need to understand. The other person isn't rejecting you by chance, they're being overwhelmed by something you're transmitting energetically without even realizing it. Imagine a job interview where you desperately need that position, where your life feels like it depends on it, and you show up sweaty, nervous, frantic. The interviewer never hears you say the word desperation, but they feel it in the air, in your energy, in the way you breathe. That is exactly what happens in a twin flame separation. You don't need to send repeated messages asking for attention or express desperation in words, because that person feels it in your energetic field, in what you're constantly broadcasting through obsessive thoughts and sleepless nights. This frequency of need is like a radio signal you're transmitting 24 hours a day, and they pick it up perfectly, even if they can't explain why thinking about you suddenly feels so heavy. The link between repetitive thoughts and energetic transmission is far more real than you might imagine. This isn't pseudoscience, it's quantum physics at work behind the scenes. When you lie awake at night obsessively thinking about her, when your entire body is tense waiting for a message, when every cell in you is vibrating at the frequency of anxiety and fear, you are literally creating an electromagnetic field around yourself that she can feel. Scientists have studied this for years. They call it emotional coherence and the quantum field. What matters for you right now is this: that sense of heaviness she feels when she thinks about you isn't because she's being insensitive, it's the result of what you're transmitting through an overactivated nervous system. The twin flame connection during separation is still there, but it's carrying a frequency that hurts instead of heals, and that's why she pulls away, not because she doesn't love you, but because she can't sustain that weight. The crucial point you need to absorb is this: the runner isn't running from the person, they're running from an energetic burden they can't carry. When you finally understand this, all the anger you felt toward her begins to dissolve, because you realize that she, too, is a victim of the situation, trapped in her own dilemma of loving someone whose energy is literally draining hers. Signs your twin flame is thinking about you still appear, but they show up wrapped in confusion, because she thinks about you with an open heart while simultaneously feeling the fear and need you're projecting. She wants to be close, but senses a kind of gravity around you that pulls her down. This is the great secret no one ever told you: this distance, this silence, is not a lack of love, it's her unconscious self-protection. And it's also exactly what you need in order to transform yourself and, eventually, draw her back in, but in a completely different way. Part 3, The Quantum Field in Motion. The quantum field isn't something abstract, mystical, or distant, it's as real as the air you breathe, just invisible to physical eyes, but totally visible to those who can feel energy. Imagine the quantum field as a network of information and intention that connects all things, where every thought you have, every emotion you feel, every vibration you emit creates ripples in that network, exactly like when you throw a stone into a calm lake. That special person, your twin flame, is connected to you through this same network, so when you panic, when you obsessively think about her, when you transmit desperation, she feels those ripples, feels each one like it's directed specifically at her, because it actually is. The quantum field has no physical barriers, doesn't respect distance, doesn't care if you're in different cities or different continents, energy flows freely, and that's why you can feel when she's thinking about you, even without any external contact. Here comes the metaphor of the energetic black hole: when you're constantly worried, when your energy is all about the fear of losing her, when your vibration revolves around needing her, you literally create an energetic vacuum around you that pulls everything inward, including her energy. It's like you're an emotional black hole, absorbing all her light, all her peace, all her lightness, and she can feel this at a cellular level. Think of a backpack full of stones. The backpack is the love you feel for her, but each stone is a fear, an insecurity, a doubt that you put inside it. The more love mixed with fear, the heavier it gets, and eventually it gets so heavy that she can barely breathe when you're around. Now comes the important part: this distance, this silence that you fear so much. Why twin flames feel connected even in silence is precisely because the quantum field keeps transmitting that heavy energy, and she feels every grain of sand in that backpack even though you're physically apart. But here's the crucial reframing that changes everything: this distance isn't a lack of love, it's unconscious self-protection. She's not running because she stopped loving you, she's creating space because her nervous system, her body intelligence, her instinctive wisdom perceives that if she stays close, she'll be crushed. And this, even though it hurts you now, is actually a gift from the universe, because it means you have a clear opportunity to change this. Twin flame energy, when apart, doesn't disappear, it just reorganizes, and when you manage to lighten that backpack, when you release the fears, the insecurities, the stones, that energy transforms from something heavy and pulling into something light, magnetic, and irresistibly attractive. That distance that seemed like punishment becomes a springboard. Part 4, The First Practical Step, Disconnection. Now that you understand the problem, it's time to stop feeding it, and that means one very specific thing: stop searching. Yes, you hear this all the time: just let go, just release it, but nobody really tells you what that means in practice, in your day-to-day life, when you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is grab your phone. Stopping the search means, don't check if she viewed your last message, don't scroll through her profile every hour, Don't send that casual message you rehearsed all night in your head. Don't pray that she comes online at a certain time. It also means not sending energy to her before bed, that practice you might be doing, that moment where you sit, close your eyes, and try to send love to her energetically. I understand the impulse, I really do, because when you love someone at the level of a twin flame, the urge to connect is almost irresistible, but that's exactly the frequency of need we already discussed, and continuing to do this keeps you locked in the same pattern. The list of behaviors to avoid is pretty simple, and I'll be direct with you. Don't wake up checking your phone hoping for a message from her. Don't scroll through her profile, just to see how she's doing. Don't comment on her photos trying to maintain connection. Don't send unimportant messages to seem uninterested when you're actually desperate for her to respond. Don't spend your mental energy remembering her as your default thought throughout the day, and maybe most importantly, don't waste your mental energy sending vibrations of love or trying to energetically connect with her. Each of these actions, no matter how small it seems, is a signal to the universe that you're still operating at that frequency of need, and she feels it. You might not be sending text messages, but if you're constantly thinking about her, if your whole body is yearning for the next interaction, if your body is on the couch but your mind is with her, you're transmitting all of this as a clear signal, and she feels it. The redirection is crucial here. All that energy, all that attention you were putting into her, needs to be redirected ruthlessly toward yourself, toward your body, your routine, your presence. When you wake up tomorrow, instead of grabbing your phone, get out of bed, breathe deeply, feel your feet on the ground. When you get the urge to check on her, redirect that toward doing an exercise you love, toward reading a book that inspires you, toward taking a conscious warm shower where you really feel the water on your skin, toward writing in a journal what you're feeling. Redirect the obsession with her toward obsession with yourself, not in a narcissistic way, but in a way that you really start living again, that your body feels alive, that your presence returns to your own body. This is the first true action that's going to start changing the entire dynamic, because when you stop transmitting that heavy frequency, you literally change what she feels when she thinks of you, and that's where the magic begins. Part 5, The Quantum Shift. This is where everything truly changes, where the transformation stops being theoretical and becomes visceral, real, tangible in every cell of your body. The shift you need to make is simple in description, but profound in execution. You need to move from, I need her, to, I am whole without her. It's not just an empty motivational phrase, it's a complete recalibration of your identity, the way you perceive yourself, the fundamental frequency you're emitting to the universe. Think about naturally magnetic people you know, those who don't need to do anything to attract attention, those who simply walk into a room and everyone turns to look. These people have something in common. They're not searching for external validation, they're not desperate for approval, they're not operating at the frequency of need. They're fully satisfied with themselves, and that fullness is what makes them attractive. You need to become that person, and the important part is that this isn't pretending, it's not a mask you put on. The energetic self-sufficiency you're building right now is exactly what's going to transform signs your twin flame is thinking about you from something confused and heavy into something clear and light. When you really believe you're whole, when you genuinely don't need her to be complete, your energy changes completely, and she feels it. It's not fake indifference, it's not a relationship game like, ignore her and she'll want you more, it's something much deeper. It's authentic self-love, it's true inner security, it's knowing that you're enough exactly as you are. Magnetically attractive people aren't attractive because they're trying, they're attractive because they finally stopped trying. This identity shift from, I need, to, I am, won't just make you feel better now, but will completely reconfigure how she experiences your presence in her life, even if you're apart. When you stop emitting that heavy frequency of need, the twin flame connection during separation changes in form, in quality, in energetic signature. And here's the most important truth you need to absorb, this transformation isn't performative, it's not something you do just to get her back, it's genuinely for yourself, because you deserve to live in peace, you deserve to feel secure, you deserve to experience that state where you wake up in the morning and the first thought isn't about her. When you can truly do this, when you genuinely integrate this identity of someone who is whole and complete, there's nothing the universe can deny you, because you're not asking anymore, you're simply being. And here's the beautiful irony, when you finally stop needing her, that's when she can finally come back, because now the energy is safe, now it's magnetic, now it's nourishing instead of draining. The change is internal, but the consequences are external, and they're always more powerful than any action you could take. Part 6, Practical Technique plus Expected Effect. Now you need something concrete, something you can do every single day to anchor this internal transformation into your external reality, and this is where the 3-minute daily meditation comes in, the one that's going to literally reprogram your nervous system. It's not complicated, it doesn't require special equipment, you don't need a perfectly silent space, all you need is 3 minutes where you really allow yourself to be present. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and start breathing deeply. Inhale through your nose counting to 4, hold for a moment, then exhale slowly. While you do this, visualize yourself in a place that represents absolute safety for you. It could be a beach at sunset, a silent forest, a warm room where you feel protected. Feel the warmth of that place on your skin, smell the air, feel the lightness that space transmits. Then, visualize a golden light flowing through your body, starting at the top of your head, slowly descending through your face, your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your arms, your stomach, your legs, all the way to your feet. This light represents love, abundance, and wholeness. It's not love directed at her, it's love directed at yourself. While doing this visualization, repeat simple but powerful phrases internally. I am safe, I am complete, I am abundant, my body is a safe place, I deserve peace. Don't force these words, let them flow naturally, let them resonate inside you. When thoughts about her appear, and they will, don't fight them, simply notice they're there and gently redirect your attention back to the golden light, back to that safe place you created. That's the point, you're teaching your nervous system that it's safe to be at peace without her, that it's safe to be complete, that it's safe to be whole. It's normal to find resistance in the first few days, your mind might get restless, you might think, this isn't working, your rational mind might say, this is a waste of time. Ignore that. You're deconditioning patterns that were ingrained in you for months, maybe years, so a few days of resistance are absolutely expected and completely normal. What she's going to feel when you start shifting this frequency is something you've never experienced before. Instead of that black hole that was pulling at her, she starts to feel something completely different. It's like you stopped being a black hole and became a star, you're emitting light instead of absorbing darkness. When she thinks about you, instead of that heavy sensation, that gravity pulling her down, she feels something light, something that lifts her up, something that makes her breath deeper. Twin flame energy when apart completely changes its signature when you change internally. She might not understand exactly what happened, but her body knows, her intuition knows, her nervous system can pick up that something profoundly transformed in you. And that's when what happens during twin flame silence changes in nature, it stops being a heavy silence and becomes a silence that carries possibility, that carries hope, that carries the promise that something truly transformative is happening behind the scenes. The meaning of silence. Silence isn't the end of the story, it's actually the beginning of a completely new chapter, a sacred reorganization of the field that connects you two. When you can truly integrate everything you've learned here, when you really understand that this phase of twin flame silence is just as important as any other moment you've shared, your relationship with this silence changes radically. It stops being something you fear and becomes something you respect, that you honor, that you recognize as an essential part of the journey. The separation that seemed like punishment becomes understood as a healing for her from the energetic weight you were transmitting, healing for you from the pattern of need and dependency you were operating from. Twin flame separation isn't the ending, it's a transformation, a complete redesign of the dynamic, and this is only possible through this period of silence where both of you can recalibrate, reorganize, relearn each other. What the ancients called the 12 revelations of a twin flame journey is actually a non-linear, evolutionary process where each phase reveals a different mystery. It starts with that immediate soul recognition, that instant, you are you, moves through detachment that's actually self-love, learning to love yourself enough to let go, reaches this separation that heals both, the part we're in now, and eventually arrives at silence filled with meaning, where you communicate without words. Each of these phases has its own purpose, its own lesson, its own magic, and silence sits right in the middle of it, not as a void, but as a reorganization of the entire field. When you can perceive silence this way, not as the absence of something, but as the presence of a transformation happening, everything changes. Why twin flames feel connected even in silence stops being a confusing question and becomes a deep understanding that the connection transcends communication, transcends physical proximity, transcends everything that the rational mind can explain. The silence is reorganizing the field, it's recalibrating frequencies, it's preparing the ground for a completely different kind of meeting, if a meeting is even going to happen, because here's the beautiful part, you finally stop depending on the outcome. When you truly integrate all of this, when you become that whole person, that star instead of a black hole, what happens next stops mattering, because you're already happy now, you're already complete now, you're already abundant now. And paradoxically, it's exactly this state of completeness that makes a true meeting possible, a meeting based on mutual choice and not desperate need. Twin flame awakening isn't about getting to be with the person, it's about finally waking up to who you are, with or without her. And when you truly awaken, everything changes. You made it this far in this video, and that already means something. It means that part of you is ready to change, that part of you has already started to awaken to what's truly possible on this journey. Maybe the next video is exactly the one that will help you understand precisely what this silence is trying to teach you, maybe it reveals that detail you were missing, that key that finally opens the door. The truth is that each video is a piece of the puzzle, and you're here building that complete picture, brick by brick, revelation by revelation. So I invite you to continue on this journey with us, not just as someone passively watching, but as someone who is truly transforming their life, who is truly awakening. If this content touched something inside you, if you felt that identification, that connection, that, oh, that's what I was feeling, then you know exactly what to do. Leave a like on this video, not just as a gesture, but as a way to tell the algorithm that this matters, that you want to see more content that touches the soul like this. If you want to keep following this journey, if you want the next video to reach you, subscribe to the channel, because what's coming is even more transformative, even more profound. And if you really want to be present for every revelation, turn on notifications, because when you least expect it, when you need it most, a video might appear that completely shifts the trajectory of this story. Because that's the beauty of this twin flame journey, the universe always delivers exactly what you need to hear, at the exact moment you need to hear it, and sometimes all that's missing is you being present to receive it. Let this silence work on you, allow this transformation to happen, trust that every step, even the most painful ones, is leading you exactly where you need to be. Magic doesn't happen when you're screaming, doesn't happen when you're desperate, magic happens in silence, in the empty spaces, in the moments where you stop fighting and simply allow. And you can do this. You made it this far, you read all of this, you felt all of this, so you've already proven you have the capacity to awaken. Let's keep walking this path together, one video at a time, one revelation at a time, until you finally understand what all of this was, what she always meant, and more importantly, who you really are in this whole story.